Hello, everybody. My name is Rob, and welcome back to VidIQ, or welcome to VidIQ if this is your first time here. We are the YouTube collection of tools. We are, of course, the YouTube channel and the YouTube Learning Academy that will educate you on your YouTube journey. And I am joined this week, as always, by no one. It's actually just me this week. Dan is taking a much and well-deserved vacation. So you get to enjoy me for the next 2 hours. Couple of interesting facts here. I used to do this solo for about 6 months when I first joined video. Actually, I think it was for about the first year. And I would do channel audits and also a Friday live stream for about 2 hours a time. And those were wonderful, glorious adventures of talking to the camera and trying to keep you all entertained by yourself with no moments of break and trying to produce the live streams and everything. And those were scary, fun times. And I'm going to try that again today with all of you. And the second fun fact is that, yes, you saw a teaser trailer for this live stream last night when I was testing this software. And I went live by accident for about 20 seconds. And the video is now deleted, but it went something along the lines of this. Oh, I've gone live here, folks. Sorry. And then I ended the stream. And thanks to YouTube being a little broken last night, I couldn't edit the video or delete it. So for about an hour, people were commenting saying, oh, Rob's testing something here. Or this is awesome. I love it when VidIQ make mistakes. So that live stream about what we were going to talk about today was just live for an hour, or at least the video was live for an hour, doing absolutely nothing. Anyway, before we jump into this, I want to welcome, as always, the wonderful VidIQ family that is with us today. And please, today, can you let me know, because the chat is going to be going very fast, and I'm managing this all by myself today. Could you please tell me where you are in the world and perhaps what time it is? And I will do some shout outs for you. And if you are, of course, watching the replay here, do let us know where you are joining us from as well in the comments below. And I want to do some shout outs to anybody who's telling me where they are and what time it is here. So we are joined by the following people who are in the following places. We have, let's see, I'm going to now have to pause the chat so that I can see these people. I'm going to welcome Siddharth Royal. He's in India. Hello to you there. It is 7 p.m. in Poland. That is Mina Tai. We've also got Joe's Phenomenal in Las Vegas, baby. It's the same time as me, 10 a.m. Texas, and it's noon there for Torch Brenner. We've got probably not the actual PewDiePie, but somebody who's calling themselves PewDiePie, and they are from the Philippines. The Tech Train guy is in the UK there. It's 6 o'clock there. Also, FIFA Football Sports 96. I remember FIFA 96. Was that the first 3D version of FIFA? I'm trying to cast my mind back there. But anyway, hello to you. 6 p.m. there. It is Matt Adam, who's in BC, Canada. Hey, fellow British Columbian. Are you a Vancouverite? That's a question. Lockdown life there in the UK. It's now 4 minutes past 6 for you. Hello from Florida, 1 p.m. there. Dale Compton. Jason Romanak, 105 for you, but you haven't told us where you are. Maybe you're keeping your location private. I don't blame you there. And also, we are saying hello to Shirley's Beauty Discovery Channel. It is 6 o'clock there in Sheffield. Fun fact, I'm originally from Huddersfield, so not far away from Sheffield there. And last but not least, I'm going to say hello to Annie Nation from Guyana, and it is 1 p.m. there. I guess that's French Guyana, right? In the in South America. So hello to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us this week. What we usually do on the Wednesday webinar is that we will showcase some tools, or we will have somebody on to interview. Last week, we had the awesome Emily D. Baker, who's going to be a permanent fixture here at VidIQ over the next year. We're going to have her on, I think it's the first Wednesday of every single month for the, I guess, legal talk, chat, copyright, whatever interesting fun is going on in the legal side of YouTube. And we had a blast last week, and we've thought up lots of interesting games. And yeah, if Dan and I are on, then we'll probably do some sort of exploration of YouTube. And as always, in the second half of this webinar, our live stream, I will be taking on some of your questions and answering them as best as I possibly can. But because I'm flying solo here, I thought I'd take the reins myself and offer you an interesting little journey into the YouTube studio. The title of this live stream is to grow your channel, 10 things you might not know. And so what I want to do is explore some of perhaps the lesser known things in the YouTube studio that you might not be aware of, but also some really important things and a couple of VidIQ tools as well along the way. So what I recommend to you right now is, if you are on a desktop computer, then maybe pull up your channel and go to the YouTube Studio Analytics so that you can follow along as I guide you through some of the things that we are going to look at today. So yeah, I'm just going to let you do that for the next 30 seconds if you can. If you're on mobile, then maybe you want to like boot up your laptop if you're near one, or if you have a computer, or of course you can always rewatch this later on when you have those the desktop beside you. And maybe in a future webinar, we'll do this for the mobile creator as well. We'll look at the mobile YouTube Studio app as well as the VidIQ app. So folks, just let me know in the chat right now. Give me an emoji to indicate how ready you are. I mean, yes, I approve the thumbs up, or the flaming fires, or even smiley emoji poops. Whatever way you are now ready for this journey into some YouTube studio things, let us know in the chat right now. Just before we do that, I am going to be showing you a couple of VidIQ tools. Not that many, because I don't want this to be just another VidIQ product tour, but there are a couple of tools that are going to come up, and those are all part of the VidIQ software. If you want to take advantage of all of these tools for a free trial, if you are brand new to VidIQ or you're not yet a paying customer, then there is a link in the video description and also in the pinned chat now, which is going to give you 30 days free, full access to all of our tools, which there are so many. I'm going to show you a couple here, but there are so many that you can take advantage of. So thank you to Fun Sisters, Anonymous, LH Presents, Dale Compton, It's Legend Lima, Make Crafts and Fun, styled by Gwenny. I hope I pronounced your name right. You've got the nerdy emoji smiley there. I think I'm going to describe that as with the glasses. But that's cool, because we're all going to be stats and YouTube studio nerds today. So what I'm going to do is, as I've done a couple of times recently in some of my videos, is just expose you to VidIQ's channel analytics, because we want to be honest with what we do on the channel, and we're not afraid of showing you when the channel's not doing as well versus when it is doing well. And right now, I think it's just doing bang on average, and it has been doing for 2021. So let's bring up my channel, the VidIQ channel, and here it is in all of its glory. Where I currently am here is on the analytics page, channel analytics. So if you want to guide your mouse over to that screen, but you might not be currently seeing this collection of columns. And this is, I guess you would describe it as your monthly summary of your channel. And I really liked this tool when YouTube first introduced it, that maybe on like the first, second, and third of a month, you would see these columns so you could compare yourself to previous months. It's like a very quick snapshot. But then I found that it was disappearing very quickly, and I was wondering why that was, and it was really frustrating. But what I've now discovered, or whether YouTube have introduced this, is, let me just go back to the last 28 days. So this is what you're probably seeing right now, the tracking like up to May the 18th data. If you go to your time period in the top right-hand corner and then sort by the last complete month on your channel, which is, of course, April, then you go to this monthly view. And you can, of course, mouse over each of these columns to see exactly how many views you got and just get a barometer of where the channel is right now. If you wanted to see what you published in those months, then yeah, you could just mouse over the video count at the bottom here, and then you can maybe review why the channel did so well in a month. So I'm looking here and remembering that we did all of the live streams, of course. We talked a little bit about YouTube Short subscriber button, all sorts of interesting things here, as well as YouTube permissions. If I wanted to go back to the daily view for April, then I can just click there. And this is all of April's daily data. So yeah, this monthly view, it's really good for just quickly reviewing what's going on your channel month by month, but you can take it a step further by clicking on See More, and then you're into the monthly breakdown here of everything all at once. So I can see that, oh yeah, estimated revenue, I guess that's super chats rather than actual ad revenue. Didn't realize it was going to show up, but oh well, there you go. That's how much we've earned in the last year from 30 million views, less than $1,000. Almost feels like a YouTube Shorts channel, right? You can also add extra data here. So let's say I wanted to look at, let's add impressions to that. And also let's add click-through rate, because I also saw that. And what I could do now is sort by impressions to click-through rate and see that June was our best month for impressions to click-through rate last year. Maybe go back to that portion of our channel's existence and see what type of thumbnails we were making there. Similarly, you could do it for impressions and try to determine why YouTube was sharing our content so much in May of last year. There's all of these different data sets that are nicely grouped here for your monthly view. So that's, I guess, thing number one that you might not be aware of. If you ever want to look at your monthly statistics on your channel, just sort time period by the last full month of your channel. Let us know if you didn't know that in the chat, or if you found that useful as a little thing to check out on your YouTube channel. All right, the next thing we're going to do is also a very detailed look at your content, but it's your most recent content. For this exploration, let's just sort the channel by the last 28 days and then go to See More. And YouTube introduced this fairly recently, but it can be a really good snapshot of how the velocity of your videos is performing when you first publish them. And we're talking about the first 24 hours here. So in the top right-hand corner, we have this option here called Compare To. And we're not going to compare any single video here. We're just going to compare a lot of videos in their first 24-hour performance. And this is the box you want to click. Now, it's going to give you this really interesting dotted graph. And what it will do is it will highlight your best 5 performing videos in terms of views and the worst 5 performing videos in terms of views over, I think it's a 6-week time period. It seems to be from March the 30th to March the 19th. So maybe that's more of a 7-week time period or 50 days. It's kind of a year curious time period here. You could probably change that actually if you wanted to. But I think that's just to try and cover a good number of videos because some channels might only post once a week. What you can do here is mouse over any of these, I guess, buttons or points in the graph, and then it shows you the actual view count and the video itself. So we'll try to pick patterns here. A video about monetization on YouTube Shorts did really well in its first 24 hours. Another video about YouTube Shorts, this time the permissions, did really well. 20,000 views in its first 24 hours. This one about quitting YouTube did pretty well. And another one here about, oh, look, YouTube Shorts and the subscriber button. And this one here about engagement. I think that was with a community tab. So there's a pattern there very quickly showing me that YouTube Shorts is performing really well. That is just for views, though. If I wanted to sort by impressions to click-through rate, it may change things a little bit, but it still seems to be that YouTube Shorts is performing quite well. And we can really do this for whatever metric you want. Average view duration, obviously that's going to push our live streams to the top. And here we go, the outstanding one here. Thank you, Emily D. Baker. Her webinar last week was bringing in an average view duration of 11 minutes. So that's really impressive, and that's why we want her on more often. Now, a really interesting thing that's appearing here, and I want to know more from YouTube about this, is when you mouse over one of these dots, it shows you video data. And intriguingly, it shows you analytics, view on YouTube, but then show similar videos. I want to know what that is. Right now, when I click on it, it doesn't do anything, which is really quite frustrating. I feel as if YouTube implementing a new tool, but I haven't quite given us access to it yet. So yeah, if anybody is able to click on that and it actually does something, do let me know there. So yeah, first 24 hours. This is a chance to look at your most recent videos and see how they're performing in terms of many different metrics. You can look at the columns here as well. Again, it shows you the top 5 and the worst 5 performing videos, but you can show all of the average performing videos here. A wealth of data, something that you can really sink your teeth into if you wanted to. Yeah, I just want to know what that button does. Show similar videos. Be really intriguing. Is that similar videos on my channel? Is it similar videos from other channels? YouTube, you're teasing me with something there. Again, if you found that useful, let me know in the comments. All right, the third thing we're going to look at here is traffic sources. But there's something that really, really strange that happens here. I'm just going to refresh my analytics a little bit here. And we'll go to see more again. So we're going to drill into the data. And this time we're going to click on traffic sources. And what you can see here is that at a channel level, you can look at suggested videos. So I know there's a lot of traffic source coming here from search, external browse features, but what other videos are being suggested here to our channel? And if I click on suggested videos, it shows me all of the videos here that have been suggested, which is great, fantastic, no problem. However, something that's a bit weird is if you go to a video level, and let's pick this one that we published around about a week ago here about monetization. And if I click see more here, as far as I'm aware, if I click traffic sources, look what's happened here. Traffic sources now are not clickable, which is really frustrating. What if I wanted to know the traffic sources for this particular video? Well, the reason you can't click on anything is because I think when you go into video analytics, it sorts by since published. So all you need to do is change the time period, and we'll do it for the last 7 days because I think this video is about a week old. Can you see what's happened now? All of these traffic sources are now clickable. So I can now actually find out where the traffic sources are. I don't know why YouTube kind of makes the links not available when you first go into a video. So let's just confirm that again. If I go to, also if you change it to, no, hang on. I'm getting all jumbled up. Let's just start again. So we go into the video details, we go to traffic sources, and nothing's clickable here. But if I change the analytics time period from since published, even I could do it to since uploaded time, which is essentially the same analytic, but just presented in a slightly different way. Now I can click on all of these links. So I know, what generating search terms here. I'm getting 1,000 views here from YouTube Shorts monetization for this video. Fantastic. So that's just one of those little nuances in YouTube whereby I want to look at the traffic sources, but they're not immediately available. I just need to click this button and it allows me to search by traffic sources. So again, another hidden little thing. Do let me know in the chat if you found that useful. Let's move on to, where are we? I think it's tip number 4 here. And this is more of an obvious one, but I'm trying to reinforce this analytic as much as humanly possible right now, because even though we have 879,000 subscribers, people who've pressed on that red button and are kind of suggesting that we may watch some of VidIQ's content, that is simply not the case. I want you all to start looking at this analytic with more gusto, enthusiasm, and a critical eye, because this is returning viewers. This analytic basically is your active subscribers in all but name. Let me give you an example of what I mean here. Let's say you watch one of vidIQ's videos about YouTube Shorts monetization, but you don't click the red subscribe button. Because you've watched that video, YouTube is going to recommend more of vidIQ's content to you over the next couple of days, maybe the next week, because it assumes that you want to see more from that creator, even if you've not necessarily pressed the subscribe button. So if you do see a second video and you watch that video, now you're into the return viewers metric, which is so important for us as creators because we want our viewers to be sticky. Now, it is very possible that these metrics are a fraction of your subscriber counts, but that's because this is a true reflection of your channel as a whole. I mean, it's very clear to show you what I mean here. If I sort this graph by, let's see, so this is for 2021, and you can see that the new viewers and the return viewers numbers are fairly stable. You know, we're not really moving the needle here, and I'm really trying to address this issue on our channel to bring not only new viewers in, but to get them to stick around and watch more of our content. If I click on the overview section and then sort by what we saw earlier, the monthly column, you can see that it's relatively stable here. You know, we're getting between 2 and 2.5 million views per week because we're not really getting more viewers to return to our content. And so we're at a plateau stage. We're not shrinking, but we're not really necessarily growing, even though we go to our live subscriber count. And that would suggest that in 2021, that our channel's grown from 750,000 subscribers to nearly 880,000 subscribers. You know, in that metric, we've grown a channel like 140,000 subscribers, but subscribers aren't necessarily viewers. And that's why I'm trying to encourage more and more people to get away from that concept of subscribers being really important to channel growth. Yes, they are important for reaching milestones in terms of monetization, unlocking the community tab. Maybe it's good as an out-facing metric for attracting businesses with brand deals and sponsorships. But for your channel, for the organic growth and current size of your community, the subscriber number means, I think, very, very little. You are more than welcome to argue with me in the chat, and you can ask me questions about that in the Q&A section that's coming up. But yeah, this metric here, the return viewers, I want you to start scrutinizing that more and more. And if you want a little more of a guide on how that works, then look at the chart guide here. There can be occasions where you're getting a lot of return viewers, but not new viewers, because maybe the topic's old and you have a core community, but YouTube is struggling to find new people who are interested in the topic. Or you can have a lot of people coming into your content because you're touching trending content and viral videos maybe, but once the viewers watch one of your videos, they're not really sticking around because maybe the follow-up content isn't connected, or they were just interested in that viral moment and you're no longer covering that viral moment. So there's a bit of education here. Ideally, I think Dan's described this the best way. You want this graph to look like a DNA strand where the blue line and the purple line are constantly intersecting each other, but also going gradually up as well. I've made videos on this about the new YouTube algorithm. If you want to learn one thing about that side of things and how Jake Fellman's content really breaks this analytic in an incredible way and is able to gain him loads of views. So yeah, return viewers, I think that's something that you definitely want to be keeping an eye on as you go forward on your channel. I think that was thing number 4. So we're moving on to thing number 5 right now. And this is actually one of our own VidIQ tools. So hopefully you've installed the Chrome extension, and maybe you've got some free access to this, because I think as a new user, you can maybe trial this 3 or 4 times. but also if you use the link in the description, then you'll get free access to this. It's called the thumbnail preview tool. And let me just basically show you how this works. We have a thumbnail here, which is talking about YouTube Shorts monetization. And I decided to go with the pitch that potentially, given YouTube Shorts $100 million creator fund, if that was shared out between all of the current YouTube Shorts creators, then I think they may get $28 each. Obviously, in reality, it's not going to be like that because not every creator is going to be invited into this Shorts fund monetization program. But I thought it was an eye-catching thumbnail, and I think the video is performing pretty well. But let's think about how this video compares to my competition. I'm going to take a section of a title here and maybe use this as a keyword search. Let's say people want to know how to make money with YouTube Shorts. How might this video look on YouTube before I even publish it? So I've put in a search term. All I need to press is preview and search. And now this would give you a preview of how this video may look on YouTube versus the competition. Now, funnily enough, you may have noticed that VidIQ is doing a lot of YouTube Shorts content at the moment, which is why we already rank #1 for this search term, how to make money on YouTube Shorts. Now, what it's done here is it's inserted our video into second place to compare it against other videos for that search term. So this is what's actually coming up on YouTube right now. If I did a search on the YouTube homepage, this is what I'd see. And I can compare it against other videos in that search term. Now, funnily enough, because we've already launched this video, this actual video is ranking, I think, #3. So we're almost perfectly aligned with where YouTube thinks, where VidIQ thinks this video may rank. So we always rank second. This is the theoretical rank, but because we've already published this video, it ranks 4th. But what do you think? Does the big green money? Because we always feel like when we're talking about monetization, even for a finance channel, people want to know how to earn money, save money, and so they're interested in that headline statement of perhaps a dollar amount. So that's why we made that very prevalent in this thumbnail. And I think it competes relatively well against other channels here. There's an interesting one here talking about maybe making $85,000 on YouTube Shorts. That sounds a bit ambitious, but hell, I want to get involved. If I'm going to earn $85,000, I may click on it right there. So that is VidIQ's YouTube preview thumbnail tool. Do check it out, and there are links in the description if you want to try this if you are a free customer. So that's thing #5. But as I said, we're not just going to cover VidIQ Tools here. We are also going to cover YouTube Studio Tools. And the next thing we are going to look at here are 2 important elements of YouTube Shorts. So yeah, we just covered the monetization aspects of it, but if you're not aware of this yet, I've tried to communicate this to as many people as possible with the videos that we've recently made. With YouTube Shorts, you're essentially allowing other creators to use the audio currently from your YouTube content on their YouTube Shorts. So let me just give you an example. Let's say I've made this video, which is 10 minutes long, and there is a bit of an important audio in here or music. Somebody, in theory, could tap a button in the YouTube app, take 15 seconds of content from this video, and then apply it to their YouTube Shorts. And with all Shorts content, anybody can take your audio from your YouTube Shorts and use it on their YouTube Shorts. There is no opt-out for YouTube Shorts right now. And again, we've made videos about this. So what I want to make you aware of is for your long form content now in the video details section, you will see way down in the video details, Shorts permissions here. So this is basically saying right now, I'm allowing any creator to use audio, sample parts of this video, and use it for their YouTube Shorts. And as I say, this permission came in last week, or I think 2 weeks ago, and YouTube auto opted everybody in. So you can turn this off at an individual level like that and save the changes. However, I'm not suggesting that any of you right now should go through all of your videos manually and untick this, because it could take hours. There is a bulk opt-out option coming soon from YouTube. Where that will be, I'm not sure. I guess it's probably going to be in settings, and it's probably going to be in, I guess, upload defaults is my guess. And it's probably going to be in advanced settings, probably somewhere around here. But as of now, I don't know. So this is just a permission that I want you to be aware of. Right now, it is just audio sampling, but in the future, YouTube may decide that they're going to allow creators to use parts of your videos as well, but that remains to be seen. And so that is one thing I want to make you aware of in terms of YouTube Shorts. The second thing is, customization wise, YouTube have decided to add a featured section to your channel automatically, which is Shorts videos. So whenever you make a YouTube Shorts, it's going to add this to your short shelf on your channel. And to begin with, YouTube made this optional, whereby you clicked add section and then you added Shorts. But now YouTube have automatically done this for everybody and added it to the bottom of your list. So if you didn't want that on your channel page, then go to the customization section here, click options, and then remove section. Because it may be that you want to make YouTube Shorts, but you don't necessarily want this appearing on your channel page. Because again, in YouTube's ultimate wisdom, they've put the Shorts section of your channel page on desktop as well, even though YouTube Shorts aren't necessarily aligned for desktop viewing, which makes me think, are YouTube going to introduce a desktop YouTube Shorts experience in the near future? But again, this is all rumor and conjecture and innuendo. But those are two things to check out for YouTube Shorts aspects, because let's be honest, YouTube Shorts are now definitely here to stay on the platform. 6.5 billion global daily views. I still can't believe that figure from YouTube. And nearly 2.5 trillion views every year, if those numbers remain stable and correct. So those are YouTube Shorts. Folks, do let us know, by the way, if you are finding all of this stuff useful. I can see that we have more likes and concurrent viewers, so I must be doing something right. But yeah, I really appreciate you watching and hopefully finding all of this useful. And if there are any fellow creators who maybe don't know about these little nuances and things under the hood in the YouTube studio, do make sure to share this live stream. We're going to move on to number 6 now. And that is, I guess, a secret collection of search functions that are available. And if you just don't know to click, you'll never know they exist. So again, we're going to drill into the YouTube data a little bit here. And in the top left-hand corner, you can see channel. And like when you look at it, it's like, oh, can I search for another channel here or something? What's going on here? And do I really want to search for another channel? I'm probably not going to click on here. When you click on it, though, this is actually to search across your entire channel for different things. Of course, you can look at videos, for example, see what's going on. Hey, look, we could look at the video that's live right now if we wanted to. Or we could look at that video that we published just a couple of days ago about YouTube monetization. Not too much data there just yet. However, what's useful here is setting up groups for your content where you might want to test different things. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up a brand new group, because I've noticed that when I've been making videos about the YouTube algorithm, even though if you've watched those videos about the algorithm, you know that I'm trying to persuade people not to think of YouTube as an algorithm, but more as a viewer. Like, what do you need to do to satisfy the viewer rather than the algorithm? But everybody searches a YouTube algorithm, so we have to include them in the titles. So what I'm going to do here is search for all videos that contain algorithm in the title. And now I'm going to add all of these to a brand new group. Yeah, I think those are all of the ones that I've recently made. We're going to save those videos. And then we should now be able to view that algorithm group and look at all of these views. Let's do it for, I don't know, let's do it for the last 90 days there, I think. And so now we can see just these videos about algorithms and how they're performing. What I could also do here is then start to compare those videos about the algorithm versus, say, videos about, oh, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to compare my algorithm videos to videos that Dan's made. Oh, look at that. Even though Dan's made a lot more videos, he's not here to defend himself. Even though he's got a lot more videos here, in the same time period, my videos about the YouTube algorithm are crushing Dan's videos. And well, let's just say Dan's videos are about gaming. So maybe that persuades us that we need to focus more on topics on the YouTube algorithm rather than gaming videos. Or maybe we could combine those two subjects, combine the YouTube algorithm with gaming as an example. But you can do this for all types of things. You can maybe set up a group for videos where you're testing thumbnails without faces or thumbnails with a certain background. There's multiple ways of testing on YouTube. And so this groups option allows you to do that in a very powerful way. But just the weird thing is, it seems to be in such a hidden area. You know, you've got to click see more. You've got to know that if you click on this box up here, you get these options to search by videos, groups, and so on. So that's, where are we? Tip or thing number 6. We're talking about YouTube groups there. Let's move on to the next thing here that we're going to talk about here. And it is similar to the first 24 hours. We did this at a channel level, but now we're going to do this at a individual video level. So in order to do this, we're going to depart the analytics screen and go to the content screen. And then we're going to look at the analytics for this monetization video. No, sorry, not this one. We're going to look at a video about how to make a YouTube short. I finally got access to the YouTube Shorts camera a week ago, and I've been wanting to make a tutorial on how to make YouTube Shorts with a camera tool for a long time. That's exactly what I did. So we can look at the analytics here as we would do. Look at that, lost 4 subscribers. Some interesting things here already in that right now it's currently underperforming for our channel. You see the gray graph here. This is how we would expect an average video to perform on our channel, but this is underperforming. And we don't want to see that. So we're perhaps a little bit worried about this channel video, or are we? We're going to sort by first 24 hours here. And then we can see what happened in those first 24 hours. Again, we might expect to get between 10 and 16,000 views. But this video only got 6,700. Is there a problem here? And it's telling us we got 36% fewer views than usual. All right. Well, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to compare this to another video that I made about making a YouTube short. So, hang on. Can you hear that in the background? It's playing my right. How do I fix that? I don't. Can you? So, folks, can you hear a video playing in the background now? There we go. I've managed to stop it. It's done that before. It's weird that you're in the analytics and somehow it works out that it wants to play a video. That's really weird. Let's see if we can try this again. All right. So I'm going to go to see more. And then let's see this time if we do first 24 hours. So yeah, first 24 hours. And then we will compare to, and then let's search for, I think it's called Make a Short. see if maybe it's create shot. Again, hasn't it? Has it? Oh, this is so strange. Let's try that create shot. No matching results. Where is it gone? Okay. I think is it how to make a YouTube shot. I think he's trying to play. Oh dear. Well, I'm gonna abandon that. Thanks, YouTube. You got a bug there. I've somehow figured a way to play videos with analytics. How strange is that? What I wanted to show you is that you can view the first 24 hours of a video and then compare that to another video and see if there are any alarm bells. Like you've made a video and you want to do an update piece of content. How are those two videos performing? And you can maybe look at the thumbnails, almost like the exact title, that type of thing, to see if there are any changes that you could make to improve either of the videos which are similar. Because we always suggest that when you're making content that works for your audience, you double down, you make more content. So using that as a first 24-hour comparison between two videos can be really useful. So that is a kind of an abandoned suggestion number 7. Sorry, suggestion number 8. Let's now have a look at thing number 9. And what we're going to look at here is one of our favorite tools, but I'm only going to focus on one particular aspect here today, and that is VidIQ's channel audit tool. When we can't give you a in-person channel audit on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. PST, we can do it through this software that we have here that gives you a report card instantly about your channel. And I'm delighted to finally show you some green numbers here at the top, whereby month over month, we're 3% up on views, we're 31% up on subscribers because YouTube had some sort of weird glitch where they removed loads of subscribers last month and they've added them all again this month. And we're 5% up on watch time. Now, there's lots of things that you can look at here, which are of intrigue. But what I want to focus on is trying to identify patterns. And a really good way to do this is to look at top suggested traffic. So these are views that are coming from other videos on YouTube, not from your channel, but sending traffic to your YouTube channel. And very quickly, what we can see here is a pattern of YouTube Shorts content. And I'll be honest, folks, I know that here at VidIQ, we've been creating a lot of YouTube Shorts content over the last 6 months, and particularly in the last month, as things have developed very quickly. But that's because YouTube is recognizing VidIQ as an authority on a subject. Our audience at large is reacting very well to it. We know there may be individuals who are frustrated by it, but the silent majority seems to suggest that we want more YouTube Shorts content. And then you can start to identify those patterns within your content. So we've got videos here about YouTube Shorts doing really well. That's the one I was trying to find, by the way, how to make a YouTube short, which I couldn't for some reason earlier on. But we also have views here. Again, more content doing really well in terms of YouTube Shorts, about monetization, permissions, that subscriber button. And also on the top suggested here, we've got one about how to grow a gaming channel. One of Dan's videos that he made at the very beginning of January, and is still bringing in between 100 and 200 views per hour, is performing really well, which is why we still try to cater to our gaming audience whenever we can, with perhaps 1 or 2 videos a month. So what I'm encouraging you to do here with this tool is try to identify patterns. See what YouTube and the data is telling you about where you're succeeding on your channel, and essentially make more of it. Again, top search terms: YouTube Shorts, VidIQ, of course, Shorts, how to make YouTube Shorts, how to start a YouTube channel. I mean, the Shorts things, there's 3 out of 6 results there about YouTube Shorts. So we will continue to make content about YouTube Shorts and why this I guess, guide is a little bit shorts centric. So that was thing number 9, but I didn't want to end with a VidIQ tool. I wanted to talk lastly, and perhaps leastly for some of you, because you won't have access to this just yet, but hopefully will do, and it will help you with your community at large. And that is new analytics for the community tab. Just to show you where we were about a month ago, if you went to content and then clicked on posts, you can get a bit of information about how your community posts were performing in terms of when they were posted, comments, likes, voting numbers if you did do voting polls. But now in your analytics, we've got some more data which can help us really drill down and help us curate the best community posts for our audience. So that is found, I think, in engagement. I believe it's engagement, and it is just below the key moments for audience. And here we are. As I say, a relatively new analytic. Hopefully you will have it if you have more than 1,000 subscribers and you are posting in the community tab on a regular basis. I'm just going to give you an example of why I'm finding this useful. I'm going to click on text here. And now this is showing likes per impressions. And it's showing our best performing ones. And look at the pattern here. All of our best performing status community posts are when we're asking you to fill in the blanks about something on YouTube. Like in 6 months' time, my channel will be blank. And we want you to comment on that. This week on YouTube, I will blank, what are you going to make? And even more powerful is that you can drill down into this data even more and really see what's kicking off here. Again, look at the best performing ones here, all of these fill in the blanks ones, which is really interesting stuff. You can also as well add a couple more bits of data if you wanted to, like post votes. So we can have a look at which voting polls get the most votes, although 0. That doesn't seem to be working very well right there. It is in beta, I think. It does need a little bit of improvement. I think what I can do is go through this way and click see more. And I think what I noticed here is if I sort by 2021, when I was looking at this yesterday, have you noticed how sometimes the best, what are we going to do? Let's sort by votes. That's probably going to be the best way to do it. Is when the less text in the question of the poll seems to be more powerful. Like just pick one. I'm not really telling you to think about the actual question. I just want you to pick one of the actual votes, and then we get the results there if you mouse over it. So I think we're going to be doing more of these where you just say vote on something in this voting poll. And look at the return, I guess, on investment in terms of some of these. You're getting, we'll take this as an example, 76,000 impressions. So 76,000 people saw this voting poll. And 30% of people actually voted on it overall, which is incredible return on investment for a 5-minute community post. You're thinking there, 70,000 impressions, 30% of them interacted with the voting poll. You've got 20,000 plus engagements on a community post tab. So that is a new analytic that's just come out from YouTube surrounding top posts. And that is the final 10 things you might not have been aware of in the YouTube studio as we've been taking our tour around there. So maybe let us know in the chat here which you thought was the most valuable or useful thing there that you weren't already aware of in all of these things in the YouTube studio. As I mentioned just previously, we did look at 2 VidIQ tools, both of which are I think available on trial for free users. But if you did want to take advantage of all of VidIQ's tools and you haven't yet become a paying customer at VidIQ, then we do have the 30-day free trial that is in the description that you can take advantage of right now. So yeah, hopefully you found that useful. Make crafts and fun. So probably the groups feature was the one that was most valuable to you. And so yeah, hopefully you can start making some groups and do lots of testing, whether it be with the titles or the thumbnails, anything you want to try. Do check that out. Comparing videos by groups. Yeah, so we have actually made a video about groups on the channel if you do want a little more insights. So do make sure to check out that video if you want. Thanks, Joe's phenomenal. You saying that all of our content is badass, so hopefully you found all 10 things really useful. And so yeah, do make sure to maybe rewatch this live stream and go through each of these things if you want to, and get exploring on your channel a little bit. So I timed this yesterday at 30 minutes. And as usual, I've gone way over. Nothing wrong with that, though. Hopefully it's all value and useful to you. So what we're going to do now is turn this over to you, where we do Q&A time. Now, I'm going to level with you here. Usually there are two people doing these Q&As, Dan and myself, which makes it a little easier for one of us to be looking for the next question while one of us is answering a question. Today, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. So fair warning, what I'm going to do here in the live stream is I'm going to set a fairly strict chat timeout here in that what's called enable slow mode, whereby when you post a message, you then can't post another message for a period of time. And this is just to help me not get overwhelmed by the questions that you're going to ask. So I'm going to set slow mode to begin with to 120 seconds, which means that you can now post once every 2 minutes. And again, I apologize. I'm not trying to stop you from commenting. We would love you to comment as much as possible. But yeah, I'm going to need a little bit of help this week. So I will see if this works. What I would like you to do is if you have a question, post hashtag question in capitals and then write your question out, and we'll bring them on screen, and I will do my best to answer as many questions as I can with the around about an hour that we have. So again, I apologize in advance if for like 10-15 seconds I just go silent and I'm like this. If you want to, at that point, you can take a screenshot and turn it into a meme. It's entirely up to you. Right, so now I'm going to click on the chat if I can find it. Like just click some buttons and hopefully I can find the comments. All right. Well, this is fantastic. It looks as if, why is... So usually what we do is press it. So usually on the live stream chat now, we were getting all the chat conversation and none of it's coming up, which is brilliant. StreamYard, awesome. All I've got is this thing here that's appearing. So why has StreamYards prevented me? I wonder if it's because I set this stream to private first and then set it to public. So now the chat isn't connected. So how am I going to do this? I think there's a way to do this, right? It's not going to be perfect, but if I do that, press that, and then make this smaller, and then, bear with me, I'm not going to be defeated here. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share a Chrome tab or a window. There we go. It's kind of works, doesn't it? Yeah. And then if I do that, so the questions are up here now. So let's see if we can get this to work. So this is where I'm going to start answering your questions. I'm a little relieved there because I didn't know what I was going to do for a second there, not being able to show the questions on screen. But it seems to have worked. Can I make that any bigger? Is that what's going to do? It just extends it out. Yeah, that looks okay. So the first question is, I'm going to look at Make Crafts and Fun here, who has asked the question, tags are not important to grow on YouTube. VidIQ has made some videos on this. Okay, so that was more of a statement. But yeah, you are right in that video tags are not as important as they used to be. I still think that searching, the knowing the keyword universe and learning the language behind all of the keywords that are used in your video topic space is very, very important, because then you can use that language in your content as you're talking to camera, but also in your titles and your descriptions and possibly in your thumbnails as well. So although you don't need to spend that much time putting in video tags, although VidIQ makes that very easy now, just to copy tags from somebody else and put them into video tags, I think it's very important to know what you want to talk about. Just as an example, the keyword language or keyword universe of YouTube growth education would be how to get more views, how to get more subscribers, how to increase my click-through rate, how to get more watch time, how to monetize my channel, how to get into the YouTube partner program, how to remove copyright strikes, how to fix a copyright claim. I would consider all of this still keyword phrases that are relevant to the YouTube growth education universe. And I make content centered around those keywords, or what you may call video tags. All right, Darren's general info. Just a shout out to Darren, who always hunts out the videos that we publish on VidIQ that haven't been made publicly yet. He's usually the first to comment on those unlisted videos. And his question is, I've noticed that whenever I premiere a video, it ranks a little higher in search. Was that just a coincidence, or is this true? So there might be some truth to that, because when a live stream is live, it can tend to rank higher, because I guess YouTube is treating it as current content. Often when we do our Tuesday channel audit live streams, which have a bit of a generic title in terms of how to get more views and subscribers, we do that because we know that video is going to rank highly for those valuable search terms for a brief period of time. I think once the live stream, or indeed the premiere, goes into video on demand, then maybe it's ranked as normal. But there may be some truth to that. And maybe one way to test this is to create a group in the way that we've just been looking at in the YouTube studio. You create a group for videos that you've launched as premieres, and maybe videos that you've just launched as video on demand. So I don't think that's a complete myth. There may be some truth to that, but there isn't enough conclusive data to confirm one way or the other. Neve John here. Maybe I should just highlight the questions as there. Can I get VidIQ for free? Well, VidIQ is free to download. We have lots of free tools available for you. And so if you haven't yet downloaded VidIQ, then do make sure to do so and check out all of the free tools we have. And if you want full access to all of our tools for a month for free, then check out the link in this video description, and you'll be able to use all of our tools for free for an entire month. Sounds like a fair deal, doesn't it? Next question is from Farmman Official. What's so important about the first 24 hours? Well, let's look at this from a velocity point of view. When your video first goes out, notifications are going to be being sent to some of your subscribers, and they're going to be jumping on the video very early on if they're loyal to you. And because YouTube hasn't got data on the video itself yet, it's going to start testing it on browse and home and those areas which are very temporary. Like when you go to your YouTube homepage, you want to see new videos being suggested to you every single day. And so when the video first goes out, YouTube may potentially be testing your content. And you want to try and, I guess, accumulate as much positive data signals for YouTube as possible in those early stages on browse, so that YouTube then determines that this is good content. Maybe I'm going to now put it in suggested videos against other content, and it sort of lasts longer in the YouTube ecosphere. And then with search content, if you can get a lot of views or at least a lot of positive signals from YouTube very early on, again, YouTube's going to think that this is a popular video for this topic. People are searching for this topic. I'm going to test this video higher up the search rankings as well. So we think about the first 24 hours, 48 hours as video velocity. And the more velocity you can have in that first 24 to 48 hours, then the better chance it has in terms of longevity, depending on the content. I mean, if it's a trending news story, then yeah, that's probably going to be popular for maybe a couple of days. And quite rightly, then that's going to die away. But if you're doing maybe something about how to tie a tie, or you're reviewing something historical, or you're just doing something which has a timeless piece of content, then the more positive signals you send early on, the better chance the video has performing over the long term. And that just takes patience, really. That just takes a lot of hard work and dedication to make sure that you understand how to best, I guess, prod YouTube in the right places for them to share your content. And the more data you have to share with YouTube, the more content you send to YouTube, the more data it has about you and your channel and the potential audiences that it can serve your content up to. So I hope that is a thorough answer to that question as best as possible. So now I need to look for the next question. Let's see what we have here. Oh, Jonk's asking an interesting one here. Are collabs a bad idea when wanting to have return viewers? I keep thinking the viewers will sub because of that one video and never come back because I don't have their preferred YouTuber. Well, usually I think how this should work is that you're being introduced to a new audience. So let's say if somebody collabs on your channel, the benefit isn't necessarily for you unless that creator is bringing over a lot of their audience. It's more for your audience to connect with a new creator and then maybe go onto their channel and watch their content, which is why you should try and collaborate on both channels, potentially at the same time. Yes, bringing in a new audience from another creator is fantastic. And I guess it's at that point, it's your job to have some shared passions and desires and a strong connection with that collaborator, so that the viewer that's come from that collaborator onto your channel can understand why that creator has collaborated with you and hopefully enjoy your content and then stick around. As always, this is something that you will probably want to test. And yeah, it's likely to get in a lot of new viewers. And as always, not all of those new viewers are going to stick around on your channel. But even if you're converting a 10, 20% of those viewers, those are return viewers or new viewers that you may never have had access to had you not collaborated with that creator. So I wouldn't worry too much about the specifics here of return viewers in terms of a collab. I think a collab is always a shortcut to reaching a brand new audience, but at the same time for that collaborator to tap into your audience as well. It has to be a fine balance in that. So you don't just want one creator to massively benefit at the expense of somebody else. So make sure that those collaborations are for the benefit of both creators. But thank you for the question, Jonk. Let's see what we have next. Oh, it's a good one here from Robin Han. And his question is, what are the advantages or disadvantages between slow and steady growth on a channel or having a single viral moment? Should we be going for one or the other? I would love to know people's general thoughts about this, but I would suggest that slowly and gradually and steadily building your audience over a period of time has more staying power than a viral moment, unless you know exactly what to do with your audience that arrives from a viral moment. It's often the case that creators just aren't ready to handle this brand new audience. And that's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Sometimes you'll get those viral moments that you weren't expecting, and they happen, and you just have to deal with them as best you can. But for me, I would much rather be having a channel where, and I am going to use subscriber count here just as a reference point, a channel which has maybe 1,000 subscribers, but each of your videos is getting, let's say, 600 to 800 views, because that kind of reflects a really committed, tight community, as opposed to a channel that has 1,000 subscribers and maybe gets 50 to 100 views per video, and then all of a sudden has a video that has 10,000 views. There's really there's a real unknown as to what's going to happen next. Having said that, if you do have a viral moment, you have to be really in tune with what you should do next. And hopefully that viral moment was content that was connected to your core channel and values, and you are able to double down on it or reinforce that viral content with more videos. It may not be that those follow-up videos are viral as well, but you're keeping that new audience hot. But then you've also got to go back to the core values of your channel and make sure you're sticking to them and to the audience that you've already built up. I'm sure everybody would prefer a situation of having a viral moment and then being able to sustain that virility with future content. But the whole concept of a viral moment is that it's a one-off. It's something it's like almost winning the lottery, and you can't win a lottery every single day. But I guess what you can do is invest constantly into your channel that gives you consistent results. We had this a little bit on our channel in 2018 and 19 when I was doing the PewDiePie versus T-Series subscriber race, and we got a lot of viral moments, hundreds of thousands of views, but we're not a channel that's going to cover that all of the time. And when we went back to our YouTube education, those viewers abandoned our content. And so I've tried to learn to do that a lot less and just focus on the core, which is you who are watching right now, and delivering as much value as we can. So again, hopefully that was a helpful answer to that question. Let's just readjust this a little bit. And we'll move on to the next question and see what we have. All right, the questions aren't going too fast, which is helping me, but I do just need to quickly review each question to see which one I think I can answer. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Torch Brenner is saying that they have good thumbnails, but your click-through rate is low. What's the next step on my journey to better click-through rate? All right, so let's deal with the subjective side of this first. And I may be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to look at your channel, and unfortunately I can't do that today. You are saying, Torch Brenner, that you have good thumbnails. What is that based on? Is that based on your opinion, or is it based on fact? And the fact would be the click-through rate, which is low. So just step back and maybe objectively look at it, or try to compare your thumbnails versus other thumbnails. We've looked at the thumbnail preview tool today, or maybe ask other creators that you have conversations with, and give them to objectively look at your thumbnails. Also in the Discord server, maybe Dan can put that in the pin chats right now. We have a Discord server entirely devoted to thumbnails where you can ask for others' opinions. So it may be that actually your thumbnails aren't as good as what you think they are versus your competition. Having said that, they could be really good thumbnails. And if they are really good thumbnails, then what you should start to see is a gradual increase in your click-through rate. Now, let's say your click-through rate is low. So I would take a number of 3% as low. But then in 60 days, the click-through rate is now at 3.5%. So it's still relatively low, perhaps, but your click-through rate has increased, and it's increased significantly. So you're going in the right direction. And if it is, then you just need to keep doing what you're doing, because ultimately that's a positive signal to YouTube. The next reason is that perhaps the click-through rate is low in combination with the impressions being low, because YouTube can't find an audience for the topic. An example might be and this is an example that's coming into my head. You're talking about the iPhone 10, whereas interest right now is about the iPhone 12 and 13. And so irrespective of how good the thumbnails are, maybe just the tech audience at large isn't interested in that content. So they're not going to click on it no matter how good the thumbnails are. But again, I'm just trying to give you lots of different ideas as to why your click-through rate might be low. The final thing might be that your click-through rate is low because your thumbnails are actually so good that people are clicking on your thumbnails, and YouTube is getting positive signals from this. And now they want to share your thumbnails with more people. So they're increasing the impressions. I always give this fairly stupid example, but would you prefer YouTube to share your content with 1,000 people? So that would be 1,000 impressions, and have everybody click on that thumbnail, which means that you get 100% click-through rates. Or would you prefer YouTube to share your content with 1 million people and have 1% click-through rate? Because then you would get 10,000 views instead of 1,000 views. So to summarize, I don't know what your thumbnails look like personally, but I think you need to objectively look at whether your thumbnails are actually that good. And there are all sorts of other mitigating circumstances as to why the thumbnail, the click-through rate might currently be low. But thank you again for the question. I think this is sort of an interesting follow-up question here as well from Chana Modal. What CTR percentage is considered normal for a channel of 100 plus subscribers? So I think under 1,000 subscribers, actually, the click-through rate can be all over the place. For example, on our YouTube Shorts channel, where I'm just doing lots of experimentation, we get a couple of hundred views per short, but we get click-through rate of like 12%, which seems really good. But on the main channel, I think you saw it today as we were looking at the analytics, I think our click-through rate is currently about 5%. So it's relatively low, but the scale is so different because we're getting, I think, like 20 million impressions per month. There is no number that I can give you that's really going to help you. YouTube says between 2 and 10%, but what I always say is look at your click-through rate over the last maybe 3 months and set that as your benchmark. Let's say it's 4%. What you want to try and do is increase that click-through rate to 5% or 6% over the next 90 days. And that's going to reflect a significant improvement in your click-through rate over that time, which then hopefully means that YouTube will share your content more, which in turn may drive down your click-through rate again. And that's because when YouTube shares your content with more people, this new audience is going to be less invested in you and your content. So less people may click, but there's more people, there's more of a pool that you're playing with. And it's almost like with the click-through rate, you want it to be going up and then drop down a little bit and then up again and then drop down and then up again. But all of the time, overall impressions are going up and up and up. I'm trying to do this thing again where I'm demonstrating something on camera, on screen, and it probably looks really bad. So let's see if I can do this, right? Impressions, it's going up and down. It's going up and down. It's going up and down. But click-through rate is going up and down. It's wibbly wobbly, up and down, 4%, 6%, 4%. But impressions are going up and up and up, which is basically free advertising. And I think that concludes our discussion today on click-through rate. Let's move on to something else that we can find. All the times colorized here with the question, I think about YouTube Shorts. They have a retention of 101%, which is awesome. People are watching the entirety of your shorts. But I can only get views a few hours a day from shorts and then the rest of the day, none at all. How does that system work? So we all are still aware of YouTube Shorts' weird and wonderful surge algorithm, I'm going to call it, in that maybe for 7 to 14 days, nothing will really happen on a short, and then all of a sudden, bang, they'll test it sometimes for 12 hours and you'll get loads of views. So I think there's always that random element of testing that's still involved in YouTube Shorts. But here's a question: is 100% audience retention good? And I'm still not sure of the answer to that when it comes to YouTube Shorts, because I did a video recently about Jake Feldman's audience retention, which used to be in, I think, about 100%, 120%. But then he managed to improve that to about 190% audience retention, if you can figure out that, because he started making looping videos. So audience retention, I think, is a very strong, high and competitive area. But I also think at the same time, YouTube is judging your shorts on engagement in terms of likes, comments, and possibly shares. So that might be something else to look for in your content as well. And we'll be honest as well and say that I think the YouTube Shorts opportunity is beginning to shrink just because of the competition, and YouTube's recommendation system is getting better all of the time. And so there's also that to think about as well. My advice to you would be, and this is something I've been doing over the last couple of days, is just watching lots and lots of YouTube Shorts from a viewer's point of view and trying to determine why I watched this entire short and perhaps why I watched it again to see what's going on there. And I don't know how much data there is on your content. If you're just talking about one video that has 101% audience retention, that's awesome. Do it again and again and again, and keep sending YouTube good data that they can then use to hopefully share more of your content. I'm going to look for another question now after I've had a drink. Okay, we've got Catify here, who's asking a question about whether YouTube have anything in the works for live streaming. You've recently been leaving my lives up on the channel instead of unlisting, and it feels just fine. Any thoughts? Well, we've always kept our live streams public after they've gone live. I don't think they have any impact or damage on the channel as far as we're aware. I think with the turmoil that seems to be going on with Twitch and other streaming platforms, YouTube, I think, is a wonderful opportunity here to bring more dedicated live streamers, live stream only channels into the YouTube fold. So you would hope that they would be listening to the creators who've been on other platforms and taking their advice and suggestions on board to make the live streaming experience better. I hope there are more interactive tools that are going to come to live streams, because it still, in one sense, is just an opportunity to read out comments and respond to them. Imagine if there was some sort of Clubhouse theme to this. If you're not aware of what Clubhouse is, it's an audio conferencing tool where people all join a room, and then the speakers or the moderators in the room can bring people onto the stage. I mean, we can do this through StreamYards. We can invite people, I guess, in the back end and then bring them onto the stream. But what if I could click on the three dots here and then say, invite user onto stage to ask a question? I would love that sort of interactive element to come into the live streams. And also, I've seen, I think on one of Mr. Beast's live streams this year, it's not recently, he was able to put a voting poll as a pinned comment. And I would love to be able to do that, because then we could say to you, what type of questions do you want me to ask next? Do you want me to answer something on YouTube Shorts or monetization? And we'd let you vote, and then we can look for specific questions on a particular topic. So these are all things that I would like to have for live stream. I'm not saying that they're definitely coming, but live streaming has stood the test of time on YouTube. And I would hope that now that YouTube have transitioned their live streaming control center to the new style, then it's hopefully going to open up a lot more tools. Just like what's happening in the YouTube studio. It took YouTube, I think, a good 2.5 years to get people from that classic studio to the new studio. But now the benefits that are coming out of a new studio are phenomenal. So yeah, fingers crossed with live streaming, but I haven't got any strict answers. Now, who is this? Shall I put this, hide this channel from the, hide this user from the channel? That would be mean. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Next question then. Let's see what I can find here. All right, well, I'll take on this one from Jaya Piano. I'm sure Bori Piano is also in the live stream chat. If you want to give Jaya Piano all of the suggestions that we've given to you, I think for an original piano music channel, you need to tap into the search terms in terms of genre. I assume you're not a tutorial channel. I assume you're creating original piano music, maybe to offer people to use as royalty-free content, or you just like to play original music on your channel. So you need to tap into what audience is going to be interested in your content, whether it's classical piano or whether it's movie themes or like power ballads, or think of not necessarily your channel and promoting your channel name and your own personality in the thumbnail and the title. You've got to get them in the content first, and that is done through commonly searched terms. So spend maybe an hour just searching around. If you were going to listen to original piano music on YouTube, what would you be searching for? Find the most popular channels and look at how they are titling their videos and pitching their content to an audience, be it through thumbnails, video tags, and so on. Thank you to Off the First Golf for the $5 super chat sticker there. There's a high five with a yellow thing and a small green thing as well. I don't know what to call them. I'm going to call them Jeffrey and Susan. They're doing a high five there. Thank you very much. So question here for going on about YouTube Shorts and that permission. For those without YouTube Shorts, when should we be getting that permission? So I think that permission should be appearing on all of your long form content right now. And if you don't make YouTube Shorts, then it should appear on all of your videos. If you make YouTube Shorts content, then that permission won't appear, because you have no choice. You have to make your content available for audio sampling. In terms of when that bulk opt-out option is going to be available, I would hope within the next few weeks. But mark my words, as soon as that feature is available, I'm going to be making a video on it because I want every single creator to know that they can turn off this permission for their long form content. So a bit of a wait and see on that question. All right, let's have a look at this one. Civ Extraordinaire. I had a random influx of 35 subscribers one day. Is there any actual explanation for this? Because I couldn't find one. So they all arrived on one day. So what I would do here is, can I really share my screen? Would I be able to share a second screen? No. I would go to the YouTube studio, go to analytics, and then go to subscription source. I think you would click in the advanced area. Actually, I want to show you this. Let's see if we can do this. Right, bear with me. It's a one-man gang here trying to get everything to work. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen for a second because I can only share one screen at once. So yeah, we're going to stop sharing that, but we will come back to questions, of course. I'm going to share this Chrome tab. So that's working. Yep. And I will make that a bit bigger, or not at all. Why is it so small? Huh. There we go. Right. So I would go to see more. Oh, does that happen for anyone else, by the way? I'm sorry to go off on a bit of a tangent, but whenever you're looking at the channel analytics and you just mouse down casually, and then it highlights one of them by accident, and then you click on see more, but you're actually clicking on one of the videos. Yeah, well, disappear. Right. So I think click more and then click subscription source, and then you should be able to find out why there may have been a massive influx of subscribers on any particular day. Like on this day, for some weird reason, we got 2,500 subscribers from other, but I think that was explained by earlier on. We lost loads of subscribers, I think, from closed accounts. Yeah, we got a lot of minus, but it's not really showing me that data for some reason. Anyway, going back to your situation. So click on subscription source, and that might tell you where you got those 35 subscribers from. I would hope it was from a video that had a lot of success and people decided to click on that red button. But again, we're going back to the question of how valuable are subscribers. Yes, you maybe got 35 subscribers, but did any of them actually watch any of your content? And that's probably more important. Although maybe for you, I'm guessing 35 subscribers means you're a smaller channel, and that's going to help you get to 100 subscribers for custom URL and 1,000 subscribers for the monetization. So it may be important in that sense. But yeah, again, I would be looking at the audience here and seeing whether a lot of new viewers that suddenly arrived in the channel. For example, here we got a little spike here of new viewers. Maybe that would explain why we got more subscribers on a particular day. So subscription source to begin with, but also look at if there's any actual value to those subscribers, because sometimes weird things happen on YouTube. And don't be surprised as well if in a week's time those 35 subscribers suddenly disappear because YouTube was auditing your channel and it just found that those were erroneous or bogus subscribers. Might not be your fault. It's just because YouTube is so big, sometimes the numbers all get mixed up. So yeah, do keep an eye out for all of that. All right, let's see if I can now once again share my chat screen. Let's get the right thing here, because we can see we've got another super chat. So thank you very much to, oh no, I didn't want to do that. Let's stop sharing it. I want to just share that Chrome tab, which one is it? It's the chat pop out. Yeah, it's that one. Make my face a bit bigger. Thank you to the Tinkerman Mick for $20. Thanks for being me, which is apparently a pair wearing a headband looking into a mirror. That is apparently me today, or it is you, whoever you is. Okay, I'm going to find another question for all of you. Let's see what we've got. I think shorts reviews. has patiently been asking this question quite a bit. So, should you niche down on live streams or just regular videos? Genetics FPS is a known issue I found on Streamlabs Discord. I don't know what that second part means. To answer the first part of the question, yeah, your live stream is an extension of your content, so it should reflect what your channel is about, in particular, your niche. Let me give you an example. We've thought about this a number of times about doing some gaming live streams on the main VidIQ channel. But even though we have a lot of gaming fans here, we're kind of alienating our audience who's not that interested in gaming. And then the second thing is, even if we did a gaming live stream, how many people would be interested in the game that we're going to play on that particular day? And so that's why we tested at the end of last year live streaming on Twitch. We did like a VidIQ gaming live stream session, and we discovered that not that many people are interested in us watching video games. So we tested it. It didn't necessarily work. So we've moved on. So again, I would be focusing your live stream content on your particular niche, but at the same time, I would make that live stream for your community, which is why, after guiding you through some of the things that we've been looking at on the YouTube studio, which took about 50 minutes, we're spending another hour plus talking to you directly and answering these questions. Because what you will find mostly with live streams is that, let's say the average video on your channel gets 1,000 views, maybe 20 to 40 people will turn up for your live streams, which to begin with sounds a little disheartening, but that's 20 to 40 people that are your super fans, your core audience, people that you can directly connect with. And you want to be doing that as much as possible. You want to be reinforcing the reason why they're here and building that trust and relationship, which is hopefully what we're doing with these Q&As every single week. So yes, topic is important, but I also think that you have to consider the viewer's intent when they're in a live stream. They're in the moment. They're there for something exclusive, something that they can get directly from you, such as you asking that question to me, because I can answer that question in a video on demand, but then that kind of feels like it's excluding everybody else because they can't take part in that Q&A session. Whereas now I'm going to move on to the next question and answer somebody else's thing that they need help with on YouTube. All right, so let's see what we can find here. All right, so apparently Dan pronounced this channel name perfectly last week. So I'm probably going to get this very, very wrong. But the Dragonic X? Dragonic X? It's one of those two. That's what I'm going with. They ask the following question, which is, does consistency generate more views and impressions? More context. Is uploading a bit of quality every week by uploading best quality every month? Keep in mind, we have experience. So a lot of you will already know my thoughts on this, but these are my personal opinions. And I said it to begin with. I'm trying to phrase this in a way. I've forgotten how I phrase this, but early quantity leads to future quality, because you start to build YouTube muscle memory and you gain a lot of experience doing certain aspects of YouTube over and over again, so that if you say make 10 videos in your first month, you can look back at that first video you made and realize how rubbish it is and how much you've already improved. I think as you get to a certain point, you do want to try and focus on the quality as much as possible. But again, it does depend on your audience, because sometimes your audience doesn't necessarily care about the quality. They just want to watch your content, especially if it's like a vlogging channel where they're much more interested in the personality and the stories they have to tell. I think with vidIQ, it's kind of a bit of a mix of both. I think there needs to be a certain amount of quality to ensure credibility. You know, if the editing was really poor and the presentation was really bad and it was really badly edited, you might lose faith in the value of what I'm trying to deliver. But at the same time, I know that viewers can be very fickle with education content. And if they don't find it valuable, they'll move on very quickly, no matter how good the production values are, because they want information and they want a lot of it as much as possible. So there are often times where I could spend a lot more on a graphic or putting together a certain illustration or explanation of something, but it could take me hours to do. And in that time, I could make another video on another topic, which is very valuable. I could make two videos, one on YouTube Shorts and one on monetization, or I could make just a video on monetization and have these really fancy graphics and have really high quality. And I'm always wrestling with that, to be honest. I like a cadence of at least 2 or 3 videos a week on the channel, along with the live streams. But now, again, I'm just giving you my own personal thoughts on this. And I think I've also explained this in a sense of, I believe that my actual content in terms of production quality is maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10. And it will take a lot of effort to get it to an 8 or 9 out of 10. Having said that, I think the quality of the value that I'm able to provide and the turnaround time to be able to talk about, you know, YouTube Shorts monetization and get the video out within 12 hours of that story being announced, which I think is far more important than telling people a week later. I think that's where my quality is a 9 or 10 out of 10. But obviously you're the judge of that by whether you watch the content or not. So it can get, this conversation can get very deep very quickly. I think the key word you use there is consistency. And that is producing content on a consistent basis for your audience to get them into viewing habits and to remind them on a regular basis that, hey, I just made some new content you might like to watch. And incrementally making your content 1% better every single time. Like, for example, maybe you've noticed in some of the vidIQ videos recently, I've started to introduce like this tense intro where I've got the drums beating and I've got a little lower third that comes up and says coming up. And I put myself in black and white to try and again add a bit of tension. And I'm just experimenting here. But I've slowly and incrementally introduced that concept over like 3 or 4 videos. I didn't do a massive switch and try and adapt all of that in a single video because I knew that would have taken hours. So I've slowly done that over 3 or 4 videos. And now I'm trying to determine whether that's going to work for the channel or not. And if it doesn't, then I'll go back to a drawing board. But I'm not trying to put all of my resources and energy into a single thing to really make the quality so much higher on one video, because I'm not sure if it's going to work. So I need to test it with the audience. Wow, Draconic X, you've asked a question that's got me really deep into the weeds. And that's sometimes how the mindset can work with a creator when they really start to overthink things. But I hope that was an interesting answer, if not a particularly helpful one. Those types of questions really challenge me existentially. I then start to have a crisis about whether I'm doing the right things on the vidIQ channel or not. All right, let's tackle another question if we can. All right, there's just some general advice here for Tudor Rochi. Is it bad if I have a gaming channel and I play different games? Very generally, the answer for a small channel would be yes, because your audience probably found you because they were searching for a particular game and they found your content. And if they enjoy your content on that game, they want to see more about it. But it also depends on the type of channel you are. If you're a Let's Play and you're able to successfully jump from game to game, then your personality becomes more important. But if you're a tutorial channel, then a viewer is likely playing one game and I want to learn as much as possible about it over a series of videos. And so that's where you would focus on one game. But again, you can test. Here's where you could use YouTube groups and say, right, I'm going to make 5 videos about Fortnite. I'm going to make 5 videos about Minecraft. I'm going to make 5 videos about Madden 21. And then you can really see if your audience is reacting well. And another great way of viewing this is, let's say you get a video about a particular game that gets 100 views, and then the next video on another game gets 25 views. You'll get these spiky view counts because people are just not aligning with your channel. You have that kind of curious Venn diagram where your interest might be shooting, soccer, and wrestling, but then your audience has to match those exact desires and interests to keep them entertained. So what we generally recommend, again, this is general advice, is to begin with, stick to one game and also think about providing value within that game and not necessarily walk through gameplay, only because there are so many channels that do that and you're competing against so many creators. Unless you can do that in a really entertaining and unique way, viewers have probably seen it before, but what they haven't seen is tips, tricks, and advice about the new game that they're playing, especially when it comes to listicles, secrets that you know that nobody else knows about, and also versus types of content. I think I did a video recently about the type of things that you should maybe try on your channel if you're under 1,000 subscribers. Okay, let's have a look at this one then. Smart Money Source here is asking, let's get that to stop scrolling. You had a viral video that generated a lot of views and subscribers, but now is getting less impressions. Could this be happening due to the rate of click on this video slowly decreasing? Well, if you're just talking about that video in isolation, of course, over time, interest in it is going to decrease. No viral video stays viral forever. And so that is just the nature of YouTube. What I would be doing right now is, if the content is still relevant, and it sounds as if it might be, if it's investing, maybe you're an investing channel, you should be doing follow-up content, looking at the popular comments, popular questions in that video, and maybe answering those. Or if news has changed or been updated surrounding that viral video, you can make updated content there. I think the last thing that a creator should be doing is making a video, it then go viral, and then pinning your entire hopes on that video continuing to perform well. It's there, it's done, it's out there. The audience are going to watch it or not. YouTube is going to promote it or they're not. You should be thinking about the next thing on your channel to supplement what's already worked on your channel. Sorry if I've misinterpreted the question there, but it felt like you're asking about that video by itself. And yes, over time, interest is going to wane on it. It happens to all videos on YouTube. It's what you do next, which is important. All right, let's see if we can find another question. I'm going to look here at Curloft. Here is asking, is it possible to switch from normal videos to shorts? I made my first short, and YouTube does not seem to recommend it among other shorts. It got normal recommendation and low CTR. Yeah, you're right about this being certainly a challenge for channels that already have a presence. They already have a community, and you make some shorts, and then weirdly, a small portion of that community watch that short as a regular video on YouTube, which then messes up all the analytics for it actually being a YouTube short. I'm wondering if there should be an option for creators to say, I only want this video to appear as a YouTube short. I don't actually want you to promote it on YouTube as long form content, because that's just messing with my audience on my channel. But YouTube seems to have gone down this road where, although they have YouTube shorts and then they have normal content, it's all in the same bucket on your channel. An example of who you might want to watch here is Legal Eagle, who have successfully blended their long form content with short form content. And also our YouTube partner, Emily D. Baker, has now started to test shorts as well. I think what you can do to stop these shorts interfering with your current audience is that you can change the notifications for the shorts, in that you can go into the video details and you can tell YouTube not to send out notifications to your subscribers, which may help to not have non-shorts views disrupting how that video might perform on shorts. But I think YouTube have also announced that when somebody subscribes to a channel on shorts, it doesn't necessarily send out notifications for new shorts uploads, even if you've ticked the all on the notification bell. That sounds very confusing, I know. And my knowledge on this is a little sketchy, and I need to do a bit more research on this, but YouTube are still trying to figure out the best way to curate shorts content and long form content as well. I would just continue to advise you to test. If you really don't want it harming your main channel, then if you're prepared to just make shorts to experiment making better shorts videos, and you're not too worried about the audience right now, then just create a second channel and have some fun with it. I still haven't seen any strong evidence to suggest that YouTube shorts are severely damaging an existing channel. I've not had any creators come to me and say that. But at the same time, it must be quite confusing for your existing audience to maybe be used to 2 videos a week, and then all of a sudden they're getting notifications, or they're seeing more of your content and excited to watch it, and then they realize, oh, this is only 15 seconds long. Why is YouTube recommended me this? I'm used to these 10-minute videos from Curloft, and I don't want this 10-second stuff. So viewer intent is still something I think YouTube are trying to figure out with their short form content. You should probably make a separate app, YouTube, a shorts app. That was my suggestion to begin with, and you ignored me. But then again, shorts are getting 6.5 billion views a day and 2.5 trillion views a year. So what do I know? I don't know why I'm whispering right now. Let's take on another question. Okay, so Phil Frimmed here, you have, looks as if you got the verification badge there, so congratulations on 100,000 subscribers if you got that. Your channel is not getting a high rate of watch time. So my suggestion to you would be, first of all, is your watch time good for the topic that you're in? And you'll be able to find that out by going to some of your videos and sorting not by average view duration, but by relative audience retention, because then it's comparing your videos against other videos in your space. For example, VidIQ's average view duration for most of our videos is around about 40%, which seems low. But when we compare that to the YouTube education growth space, through relative audience retention, usually our graphs are above average. So it's suggesting to us that YouTube thinks that we're still creating good content. What I would focus on first with watch time is the first 30 seconds of your content. And YouTube do have analytics about for this. Let's say that in the first 30 seconds, you're losing 40 to 50% of your audience. Well, then that audience is never coming back. So they don't care what's at minute 2, minute 6, minute 15. So making sure that your audience is hooked in some way in the first 30 seconds is going to improve your overall watch time. So if you're going to focus on anything right now, it's focusing on that first 30 seconds and ensuring that the video at that point is delivering a little bit on its promise of a thumbnail and the title. And I think that once people are over that first 30 seconds to a minute, then they're more inclined to watch more, if not all of your content. And so again, maybe talking about the production values, you know, we talk about creators spending a lot more time on their thumbnails. Maybe they should also be spending a lot more time on their first 30 seconds to a minute to ensure that the viewer is really hooked. And I have been doing that actually a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed this in our videos, but in the first maybe 2 to 3 minutes, I'm spending a lot more time on B-roll and graphics and that intro. And then in the last, I guess, 2 or 3 minutes, when we're like 6 to 7 minutes into the video, I'm doing a lot more just talking to camera, which is a lot easier to edit. Because I only have a finite amount of time to make a video. So I might spend, let's say a video takes 10 hours to make. I might spend 7 or 8 hours on the first, well, let's say like I might spend half of my time on the first 2 to 3 minutes of a 10-minute video, and then maybe only an hour on the final 2 or 3 minutes of a video, because I know according to the audience retention, there's not a major drop off of people. They're invested at that point and they're going to watch it through to the end. So I can concentrate a little bit less on the B-roll, but I can still deliver the value by narrating to camera. So again, that's just an insight into how I'm trying things. So hopefully it might help with your watch time. But yeah, I would definitely be looking at that first 30 seconds to a minute and trying to keep your audience. My target right now is to try and have an audience retention of about 70% after that first 30 seconds, because right now it's between 65 and 60%. So I'm already losing a third of the audience in that first 30 seconds. And that needs to be better, because, you know, maybe I'm getting 20,000 views, but if a third of them leave in that first 30 seconds, then I'm already down to 13,000 people watching that video and being satisfied by it. Okay, I'm going to try and tackle maybe another couple of questions here. We've managed to make it through here. I've managed to do almost 2 hours of live streaming Q&A here. So, folks, if you have enjoyed this, do let me know. I would really appreciate it, because it means a lot to us, and we want to give you as much value as possible through our content, especially our live streams where we can talk directly to you. Oh, a very quick one here. Knowledge Commander X, can we hide our subscriber counts? Traditionally, yes, you can hide your subscriber count, and I'm sure you still can. But I cannot remember for the life of me how you do that. So let's explore together. I'm going to go back to my channel analytics, and I'm going to try and find out how to do this, because I'm sure it's probably in the settings, but I just don't know where. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to go down to settings, and I'm going to go to channel, and I'm going to go to advanced settings. And is it around about here somewhere? There we are. Subscriber count. Display the number of people subscribed to my channel. So if you want to hide it, that's how you do it in channel, advanced settings, towards the bottom. But the big question is, why do you want to hide your subscriber counts? Everybody starts at 0 subscribers. Everybody starts at 0 views. And for you to hide your subscriber count, you're making a conscious decision to do that. And from a viewer or visitor's point of view to your channel, there's always that question of why have they hidden their subscriber count? Are they trying to hide something from me? It shouldn't matter how many subscribers you've got. Your value is not defined by a number. And as you make content and as people subscribe to you, that number is going to go up to the right. And you want to be celebrating that, I think, whenever you can with your audience through the community tab, live streams. I'm telling you now, we are definitely, even though I keep saying subscribers don't matter, I still want that gold play button. And so we will definitely be doing some sort of celebration live stream as we climb towards 1 million subscribers, which fingers crossed we're going to do in the latter half of 2021. So yeah, think about why you want to hide your subscriber count. Okay, Flaming Shane here with a question which I'm trying to highlight, but the scrolling's not helping me. I noticed that in my highly edited videos that underperform than expected, I was shocked that about 40% of viewers clicked off right during the climax, the end of it, having a mid-air sniper headshot. Why? Well, this is where I think you need to go to that part of the video and play it. And I guess try and objectively answer that question. Maybe it was you built up that moment so much that it was an anticlimax. People got there and it's like, oh, is that it? Or it could be that the payoff was too early. You're saying 40% clicked off at that moment. Was that in like the first couple of minutes of a 10-minute video? And like the video was pitched as that's the big thing that's happening in this video. I guess it would be like Star Wars, and you find out 10 minutes into the first film that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. Have I just spoiled this for anybody? I think I have had 35 years of spoiler alert for that. But like all of it was revealed in the first half an hour. And then the last 2 hours of the film was just boring stuff, like flying to a spaceport and buying some parts for a ship, which nobody cares about because they've seen all of the action. I know that's a terrible off the top of my head example, but obviously your audience is voting with their clicks there. And you need to objectively find out why that is. A good example, actually, we have of this happening is that I will do tutorial videos and I will tell somebody how to, let's say, delete a YouTube video. And I will purposely show them how to do that in the first minute of a 3-minute video. So people get the answer they need in the first minute and then they abandon the video. Now, the second part of the video is about, should you delete a YouTube video? Because I don't want the video to be a short video. I want it to be about 3 or 4 minutes because my personal thought is that videos tend to perform better when they're longer than 2 minutes. But the audience retention kind of goes like this. It drops down a little bit and then it goes back up because there must be a part in the time chapter where I've told people exactly how to do it. And then it immediately drops off and dies. But here's a weird thing. The video is performing really well because it's towards the top of the search rankings, because I think viewers have been satisfied by that video. Even though they've not watched that much of it, they're satisfied that they've got their answer, because maybe they got their answer from that video and then they went on. It allowed them more time to stay on the YouTube platform to watch other videos. So the video served its purpose, even if the audience retention wasn't that good. And I think that's kind of one of those weird things with search-based content where you as a viewer just want the answer to the question and you want to spend as little time as possible getting that answer. But to go back to your question, the data's there. You need to put the time and effort into figuring out why that happened. And that was Flaming Shame. And I think I forgot to put the chat back up there, but that was the last question that we were going to take on today, because we are up to the 2-hour time limits. and it is time for me to go off and have some lunch. Folks, it has been awesome once again having you join us here on a Wednesday webinar. It was something a little bit different this week. We took a little bit of a tour through the YouTube studio. Dan will be back next week along with myself, and we will have some very exciting things to show you, whether it be Q&A or a product tour. So if you do want to say your goodbyes now, I think I'll just do a shout out to some of these. I will apologize as always that we don't get to answer all of your questions, but maybe that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to leave your viewers wanting more, just like the channel audits, where we get 1,000 channel submissions every single week and we can audit about 20 of those channels. It means people come back for more. We would like to answer all of your questions and audit all of your channels every single week, but we just don't have the time. But I'm going to say thank you to the following VidIQ family members that include Mama Ralty. Have a good lunch. I think I'm going to have tomato soup today, by the way. We are saying goodbye to Colored with S Adult Coloring. We're also saying goodbye to Nerd Logic, Masterful Samurai Gaming, Zen Editing, and also Elite Alpaca. Anna Zilli, ciao to you as well. And last but not least, thank you to all of our moderators, including Zen Zarius. Who else have we had moderating today? Usually Michael, Dan H is in the house, as always, Hacksaw Dan, and Michael Shiro is usually moderating. Has he moderated this week? I'm not sure. But we have a couple of moderators in here. And finally, I'm going to say goodbye to Jonk, Mike Crafts and Fun, and Spooky Booze, Scary Store. Let me try that again. That's quite a bit of alliteration there. Spooky Booze, Scary Story Time. Maybe I'm going to watch one of those videos as I go to sleep tonight. Bye, everyone.